Hello and welcome to another episode of the Idle Musings of the Nerd Mind podcast. I don't know why I said it like that, guys. Maybe I'm feeling a little wild like Ezra in Hawaii tonight. So I can't promise anything.
Shots
guys.
fired.
Shots
Right,
fired.
I'm like, oh my
Fists
goodness.
thrown. Shots fired like Ezra in Hawaii.
Leave it alone.
Don't make me light you on fire.
We have now, guys, we are only like 20 seconds into this episode and we've already hit the Speed Force. That's how we're working right now. That's what we're doing.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. If you're tuning in to us live on our social media via Twitter or Facebook, thank you for joining us. And if you're listening to our audio podcast over at Spotify, thank you for joining us there. Feel free to go like us on social media over at facebook.com/idle nerd musings or over at Twitter at idle nerd musings. Also, not also. Idle Nerd Musings is the handle with an @ sign. I don't know. Who knows how long Twitter will even be around anymore at this point. So, hey, I know I'm feisty tonight. I've got a nice beer in my hand. I'm feeling feisty tonight. So, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. My name is Matt Reifschneider. I am one of your three lovely co-hosts for here at IMNM. And, of course, down below me, I've got the wonderful
Richard Williams. Hello, y'all.
There's Richard. He's got his big smile on. He knows what we're talking about tonight. And then over to my side would be my left side, depending on how you're watching this video, which would be right over here. I've got the beautiful
Stephanie.
And of course you can find Stephanie nowhere online whatsoever. She actively despises social media. No, I'm just kidding. She does some good stuff on social media, but she's on Facebook.
I'm sure you could find me. It's not that hard. I'm there.
Yeah. I'm there. I'm just hidden. I'm hidden in the dark corners of the internet. Of course, Richard, where can you be found online? Let's throw that out there right away in the beginning instead at the end.
You can find me on Twitter at Storm78704 and then on Instagram on Storm78704. And I'm on Twitch, but not really. It seems like a lot of content people they went there and now they're back at YouTube. And by the way, we're on YouTube, so smash that button, that like button, and subscribe.
Yeah, hit the
show
bell.
us some love.
Yeah, show us some love. We would like to see what you and obviously we encourage that you guys join us in this conversation because that's kind of what we do here at this podcast. Is we have a stream of consciousness conversation with each other about current events and pop culture and things that make us nerdy, make us feel nerdy, and things like that. So join the conversation. You can even see across the banner at the bottom there using the hashtag IMNM_nerds wherever you can. Let's get it. Can we get it trending on Twitter? I don't know. I don't know if we want it to be trending on Twitter. Every time I look at what's trending on Twitter, so you're just gonna chant.
My goodness.
Negative press is positive press.
Negative
True.
Press. All press is good.
True.
Press.
Right. All press is good.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true anymore. I feel like as we see all of these trending hashtags about a certain trial going on between two very famous individuals, I don't know if all press is good press. I'm just gonna throw it out.
There. I did find a turd in the bed. Was that yours?
Yeah, no, that was a. Did you see that there was hackers that changed her name on IMDb to Amber Turd? It's a shitty joke.
Here we go, folks. Here we go, folks. Not tonight. We don't have enough time. We don't have enough time to talk about that court case. Let's let it all wrap up before we start chatting too much about it. Oh my God.
That's all I'm going to say about that. We actually have a lot of stuff to cover tonight. Thank you so much, guys. We missed last week. That was unfortunate. Both Steph and I decided to come down with a good case of the COVID.
Steph and Matt of the House of COVID.
Yeah, Steph and Matt of the House of. They're actually making a Game of Thrones spinoff. about
Oh,
our
my
time
It's
at
God.
home.
It's true.
Yeah.
We thought we would announce it here first.
Yeah, we announced it here first. Thank you. Hashtag HBO Max, which we are now.
Sponsor us.
Yeah.
Sponsor us.
Hashtag not sponsored. Hashtag
Guys, speaking of
open to
HBO
it.
Max, Westworld next month.
Oh yeah,
I saw the commercial. The trailer.
Yes, I'm so
I saw
excited.
the trailer. I saw
and
the trailer.
and your girl is. Did you see they announced her, Ariana DeBose, who won her Oscar for West Side Story
Yes.
this last year? They just announced her for Westworld, so she's going from West Side Story to Westworld. So Westworld Story maybe.
West.
I know it's gonna be fun. So. Okay, so as it is well known on this podcast by now, I don't watch television, so I guess I got to catch up on Westworld. So.
I hate television. You're like, who's a liar? Right there.
Yeah, who's the liar? I'm sorry, Richard. Are your pants on fire? Did you walk out into the sunlight again? Because that'll just burst you into flames.
I am not a vampire. I am not a vampire. I wouldn't mind it. So
I
if you're
wouldn't
a
mind
vampire,
it.
knock on the door. I'll let you in. I'm like, come on in. I'll write a sign. And then you could just turn the handle. Come on in. I'll talk with you. We'll put you on the
You can just turn the handle. I
just
like it.
Turn it. Come on in.
We need that on a t-shirt also. Richard is a vampire. On the back of it, it's like, come on in, just turn the handle. That is my new favorite thing. And Richard is a vampire as a joke I am never going to let die. So it's going to be as immortal as you are, Richard. So you're just going to have to live with it forever. We're rocking it, guys. We're all feisty tonight, I think. We got a lot to talk about tonight, guys. So why don't we just kick this off? Because we're already 8 minutes into this podcast. Let's start chatting. What were you guys watching, listening, whatever, playing this week? We'll start with I think we started with Richard last time. Steph, what did you start with this week?
First of all, Ozark, the second half.
Yeah. Season 4, part 2, which
I don't know. I wasn't thrilled about the ending, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Wasn't not how I would have ended it. But
so which begs the question, how would you have ended it?
Fuck bad people. People. Okay. Fuck that. That's all I gotta say without ruining anything. All right.
Yeah.
But if you're a fucking scumbag, I'm gonna punish you. In the name of the moon, I shall punish you.
Yeah.
All right.
I was gonna make a Punisher joke, but the Sailor Moon joke is even better. I'm sorry. That was in the name of the moon. I'll punish you. I just expected you to fly through the air and just the moon, just and then do a twirl and your outfit changes and suddenly you're
Speaking of Sailor Moon, did you hear that there's finally going to be an ending in 2 movies coming out?
So I wonder, what is that, just mistranslation of being hey, it's the final movies, or are they just doing the final story?
Yeah. I'm gonna watch the shit out of it.
Well, of course you are. You're gonna watch the shit out of it. I'm gonna watch it 3 times each. I'm gonna watch it for every Sailor Scout. I'm gonna watch it for Jupiter. I'm gonna watch it for Chibi Moon. I'm gonna watch it for it.
Oh no! Oh my god!
Okay, all right, I'm sorry, guys, but the highlight of my week was being able to go to Panic Fest. I believe that's what it's called, right?
Panic Fest, yeah, 2022.
Watch some great movies, and I definitely want to highlight 4 of them.
Okay.
Malibu Horror Story, great found footage movies, but I'm also a sucker for found footage. I will admit that. But I thought it was fantastic. I think the best one of the fest was definitely Midnight. It's about a deaf mother and daughter duo in South Korea with this fucking creep trying to kill them. And you are on the edge of your seat the entire movie. That movie does not let up. Fantastic. Another one that hit me in the feels was Dawning. that is about two sisters that went through some shit. And woo, that movie. And then one that I really liked, which takes you on tons of spins, is Dawn Breaks Behind the Eyes. I believe that was a German film.
I heard.
Ooh, that's a great question. I think so. I think it was German.
I think it was German. Fantastic. I wish I could tell you more, but if I tell you anything, it gives away everything. All I can say, it's a must watch. But that's what I've been up to this week, guys.
Yeah. Caught a little COVID, did a film festival from home. That's how it works. Yeah, that's how it works.
It all works out. Thank you, COVID.
Thank you, COVID. And finished watching Ozark, right? In one day. You watched like
that
8 hours.
That was one sitting. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I did that for a very disappointing ending.
I was gonna say we've already chatted about the binge watch versus week by week, and we now know what side you fall on. So
if you didn't know before, now you know.
Yeah, and if you haven't listened to our past episodes, please feel free, go back and listen to that one. That was a nice little fun debate that we got on that one, where I'm calling you guys out about how many episode numbers is gonna be the perfect one. Cool. Thanks, Steph. Thanks for sharing that and everything.
You're welcome, Matt.
Richard.
Let's see. Totally excited that Gotham Knights is coming out soon. I posted it in our Facebook page. Soon.
Coming out soonish. Within the next 1 day to 5 years.
The one thing I'm not happy about is that they have officially did it. They are not doing it for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It's all the brand new PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox.
Oh, really? The latest generations? It's only for those?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're cutting out. Yeah, they're cutting out PlayStation 4 and online, and you can also play it online on your computer. So, but not PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, which really sucks because, anyway, I have all the games, all the Batman games and stuff like that. Total shout out to Young Justice for having an amazing episode with one of the superheroes, and she has an autistic child. Oh my god, I started tearing up, and she had to go away and go on the planet, and one of the other superheroes where she went, he was a little autistic too, and from her dealings with him, she came back to Earth, and she's like, Mama's home, and ran to him and kissed him, and she's like, I see you. I see who you are. And this whole season has been real world problems, and they're just putting it in there, but it's still superhero-ish, And come on, a single mom who's a superhero, she's like, I'm going to Mars. You gotta keep the baby.
BRB.
I'll call you. You call me. Oh my god! Anyway,
it would have only been better had she said it like Arnold Schwarzenegger from Total Recall. She's like, "You just the Maz," and then you would have been fine. So.
She would have been like, "Click." But I'm going old school. I'm going back in time because of the new Doctor Who who's coming out. It inspired me to go back and watch Torchwood, which is the spinoff of Doctor Who, and actually Torchwood is Doctor Who spelled backwards. So it's great. I love it. It's even more adult, if you can believe it, than Doctor Who.
Wait, how is it spelled backwards? Doctor Torch.
Or maybe it's an anagram or something.
Or
like
where it's like the mixed letters. Okay, I was like,
yeah.
I was like, wait a minute.
I was like, dude.
That's what I was doing in my head. I was like,
it's an anagram. You just mix it up, and then you spell Dr. Who. Oh no, Daddy's tired today. It's been a crazy week already. Moon Knight, I'm so excited to talk about it. We're going to be talking about it today, y'all. And what else? Yeah. I guess that's about it. Games, not really. Well, a little bit of House of Ashes. It's a part of the anthology of different like horror movie games, and it's kind of like pick your own adventure. And I love it because it's just very much like, are you going to say you love this person, or are you going to say you hate them, or not say anything at all? And it really dictates how the game goes. I always want to save everybody, but I mess up. Especially it's like, you don't get to talk to me like that. And if you get angry and like come back with something instead of saying, that's okay, you're under pressure. A monster's trying to eat your head. I get it. So, yeah, it's just crazy. I love it. Different outcomes every single time. My goal is to get every single person out. Has not happened. It's always 3 people I get out. At least they're different people and not the same 3 people, because that would say something about me making the same choices all the time. So anyway, but that's what I'm doing, work and, trying to get into school, and that's me. That's me right now.
We just solidified the difference between you and I when we play video games, because right now I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima, and I literally just kill everybody. I just like walk in, slaughter rooms of people. I don't try to do any kind of like stealth mode, anything like that. I just that's how I play a game. Assassin's Creed, you have to sneak through this level? Whatever. So
see, that's why I like Spider-Man, Miles Morales Spider-Man, because it's like you have to be quiet, because if you jump on a box or a box falls, everyone sees you up on the rafters and they all shoot at you, and you're like, oh shit, how do I get the hell out of here? Oh, I can't, so I have to die. So yeah, it's anyway. I
haven't played that one yet. I played the first Spider-Man game. I haven't played Miles Morales, but all I'm going to say to that is that obviously you just don't have the skill set that I do to be able to just run into a room and just slaughter everybody. So
no, I don't think so. I can't.
Okay,
I can kill
now
people
I'm just
on
going to
games.
have to play it.
I can kill people on games.
Sure, all right? I can kill people on games. I'm playing Grand Theft Auto 5 right now.
Right, I'm like, what's your name? Kapow! Oh my god! Okay, go! Okay. We gotta keep going.
Yeah, we gotta keep going. We're already 18 minutes in.
I'm just saying really quick. Let me add to that. I'd fuck you guys up in World of Warcraft. If you guys ever want to go down, let's do it.
Okay, so
and Mario Kart.
I was gonna say you've heard it here first. You've heard it
64
first.
preferably.
We'll probably have to do a live show where we all play Mario Kart together, because I don't know if I can play World of Warcraft. We'll all play Mario Kart together, and we will see who truly can be crowned the Mario of karts.
Let's fucking do it.
Okay, all right.
Dead ass.
I'm gonna lose.
With that kind of confidence, you will, Richard.
I just don't play that game. I'm like all about monster games or superhero games. Like, yeah.
And are you going to tell me that Super Mario doesn't have superheroes and monsters in it?
Seriously?
I guess so. I've never played it. I'm a bad person. I'm sorry. I know. I'm getting these looks. I'm getting the look.
I judge you.
I judge you.
I judge you a little bit.
In the name of the moon, I judge you.
Oh my goodness.
That's where we're at.
All right, come on, Matt.
Yeah, okay. Fine. All right. I'm also going to just shout out a couple of things that I've been watching this week. I also, with Steph, had attended the Panic Fest 2022 online version of it. We got to see a couple of great films. She mentioned a couple of them, and a couple of other ones I'd like to throw out there. The Outwaters, also a found footage horror film. I will tell you that it is like the last hour of it is like going through the 9th level of hell. It is intense, and it left me feeling a little hollow inside as I went through it. So I did get to write a full review for that one over at bloodbrothersfilms.com. So you definitely can go check that out too. So Then, of course, I wanted to do a shout out to the action movie I just watched on Netflix, which is called, let me double check on it, Yaksha, Ruthless Operations. And I'm going to say it's like South Korean Mission Impossible. And it's a movie that has literally has the gall in the opening scene to be like, by the ways, you think this is Mission Impossible? It's not. And then proceeds to basically be a Mission Impossible movie. It literally has a line of dialogue saying we're not Mission Impossible. Very funny. So there's a lot of good stuff out there. So those are the two things I want to shout out. But I'm going to kick off and kick us into our first subject, which you had brought up before. And in the words of Stephanie, in the name of the moon, I knight you. How is, I know you shared that meme on our page of Sailor Moon Knight, which got like a ton of likes and comments.
I loved it. That was so funny.
I liked it. Funny. That was funny.
See, super funny. Find me on the interwebs.
You can find her on Facebook, posting underneath the Idle Musings of a Nerd Mind banner.
There you go.
Guys, Moon Knight is now done. All 6 episodes are available on Disney Plus. # not sponsored. # open to it. So, guys, I gotta pick your brain. What did you guys feel about Moon Knight? Let's start with you, Richard. Richard, you obviously were the one championing Moon Knight in full.
We sure were.
You were reading comic books, you name it. So
he read the comic book along with the show.
Totally bent the ear. Now everyone knows that's a lie because I collect comic books. If someone bent the ear of the page in my comic book,
that kills me. No, don't
your
ever
name?
do that.
I'm totally the guy that
fight.
Don't you look at my long
yell
boxes.
at Matt the way that he reads books because he bends the cover all
No,
the way back.
Matt.
Like, oh my god, what are you doing?
No,
you're not supposed to crease it.
Books are like great band shirts. They look better when they're worn. So I'm just saying.
Make that up?
I absolutely just made that up, and that's my belief system.
If you love something, you take care of it.
All right, cool.
That's all I have to say.
Spoken like true collectors. All right.
There. So I just want to say, oh my God, this should have all been shown at once, in my opinion. And I go back and forth on things. This should have been shown all at once. No wonder they dropped the first 3? Was it the first 2 or first 3?
I think it's first 2.
I think it was first two.
Yeah, you're right. It's the first 2. And no wonder, because if they would have just did week to week with the first 2, people were like, I'm not watching this. And I think y'all were kind of on that bandwagon of like, okay. Totally. And then it got better. Like, so what was it? 4 through 6 are my favorite ones, especially 5. It really, really touched me. I just love how Steven and spoiler alert, by the way.
Put a siren in.
If you haven't seen it. I love how Steven and Mark learn how to work together and love each other. I love the fact that because he does have these different he has dissociative anyway, but I love how he created, and it showed him as a child creating Steven. And there was one more created that they're like, what? Who was shown at the end. And it was Jake. And Jake was created when his mother beat him so he could take it. So it switched off to Steven, and then when the punishment, the mother was, punishing him, and went straight to Jake, because you see how cold he is, and he'll just like destroy something. And Mark create this to protect himself in his mind, and I loved it all. I love how they did it. I love how 2 characters embraced each other, and now I'm like, come on, you guys show me, Jake. Are they going to win Jake over and all work together? I loved it. I loved the suit and tie, and it went to Steven, and I loved the Moon Knight costume went to Mark, and I'm like, are they going to do something with Jake? I loved it. it made me so happy. Plus, I have the hugest crush on Oscar Isaac ever.
So now the truth comes out.
Right. No, that's a part of it. He's not an ugly person ever. He wakes up with bad hair. I'm like, you know what? It looks good to me. What's going to work?
Good to me.
Yeah, go to work. No one's going to say anything. And if they do, you call me and give them the phone. I'll talk to them.
Mhm.
But good. It was great. I loved it. So, but I read the comic books. I knew what was going on in the background and stuff. What about y'all? I want to hear, because y'all don't read the comic books and stuff.
Yeah, Matt, what'd you think?
Yeah. So I will say, I had no clue. The only thing I knew about Moon Knight going into the show was the meme where he's asking Dracula for money that went around online for a while. That was basically the only thing I knew about Moon Knight going into the show. I will say a couple of points that I fully agree with you. I liked when they actually started to dig into his backstory a little bit. I think that was obviously you have Oscar Isaac acting against himself, and he's a great actor, and so you get some really good stuff there. I do think the show strengthens as it goes. 4 through 6 are easily much better than the first 3 episodes. Yes. Which is using a lot of style to, I think, to promote the mystery rather than just kind of kicking it off and running with it. I still didn't love the show overall. I wanted to. And part of that is that kind of my own tastes in terms of how things run. I don't need an end of the world scenario for a hero. And by the time that they're like, oh, it's an end of the world scenario, I was kind of like, all right. At least they didn't do a sky beam this time. So I'll give them that. I did give them a star for the kaiju fight in the final episode. So you get a bonus star there. The show could have utterly redeemed itself in the final moments when he went to go kill Harrow, and had he just said "Latest Gators" right before, because it's an alligator, and I'm sorry, but that is such a fun idea.
I think that would.
I'm sorry. Great. This show's a 3-star show for me. Instant 5 stars had he said that. Had he said "Latest Gators" and then punched Harrow in the face, 5 stars. But that's just my love of cheesy action movies with it. There's good stuff in it. I think Oscar Isaac is great. It's interesting to hear that there probably won't be a season 2. It kind of sounds like Marvel's kind of not interested in it, which makes you wonder what the numbers are for Disney Plus. They must not be nearly as high as they kind of thought it was going to be. So I don't know. Steph, what did you think?
Well, Matt and Richard, not my thing. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's okay. Yeah.
I think, like you guys said, Oscar Isaac is great. But I think you put him in anything, and he's gonna be great. I did like that Jake was Spanish. I'm like, yeah, baby,
yes,
do it.
Mm-hmm. I loved it.
I wonder if Oscar was happy too, because he didn't have to put on an accent finally.
Right, right. That exactly.
But yeah, and I really wanted to like what's the chick? What's her superhero name?
Layla.
Scarab?
Oh, the superhero is the Crimson Scarab, but it's Layla. That was her name.
I really wanted to like her, but I couldn't really get into her.
Wow. Okay.
You guys said that Moon Knight wasn't gonna have a second season, but is she gonna get her own show?
It's in talks. It's up to Marvel. They want to do it. They're ready, but I think Marvel has other plans for them, because Halloween, Werewolf by Night, one of my other favorite comic books where he showed up in number 32. I think he's going to be in that, and Blade is coming out next year, and I think they're trying to put together, a group, the Midnight Suns, basically. Sorry, go ahead, Steph. Sorry.
Oh no, that's cool. No,
that's how you. Okay.
Yeah, but I want to like it more than I actually liked it.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, it's. I think the key for me is, Richard, you almost said it best. Like, it almost works better as a movie. than a 6-hour show. Had you
Yeah.
trimmed it down, I think I might have liked it better as a movie, because you would have trimmed a lot of the fluff that didn't necessarily need to be there, that they're putting there
Right.
for kind of what you said, to set up maybe a crossover
Right.
or something else like that. And
Yeah.
I kept waiting. I don't know. It almost felt like 6 was the absolute wrong number of episodes to have. You either needed to like really expand out the world, double that number, put out 12 or 13 episodes, or cut it to 3 and make it essentially like a mini movie where you're cutting it into
Right.
essentially like a 2.5-hour movie or something to that effect.
Okay. Right.
I don't know. That was my kind of thoughts by the end of it. I mean, like, I'm game to see Moon Knight come back. You know, maybe if you want to bring him, team him up with Blade or some shit.
I mean,
like,
he's a
I'm
mummy, dude. How awesome is that?
Superhero mummy.
There you go.
You know? He has to come back.
Yeah, he's coming back. He's coming back. Trust me.
Yeah, let's just say on superhero mummies, that's not a wrap. Okay, like, we're gonna bring it back, and we're gonna. You're welcome, Richard. You're welcome.
Puns. Bring on the puns.
Yes.
Keep them coming. I guess one last thing is, I really think they're going towards putting him in other movies. I would love to see a season 2, and I think that, thank God for the after credit with Jake, because people, oh my God, if you see them reviewing it and reacting, everyone's like, holy shit, they're going to leave it like this? They're going to do this to us? And then the Jake thing came out. They're like, oh my God, I like it so much better now. Oh my God. Because people were like getting angry. Like, you just saw it in their face. But I think he's going to the whole dark side, Doctor Strange, all of that. So I think it's going to go towards that.
Yeah.
So.
We'll see. It's interesting that Disney did put it up for Emmy consideration in the limited series category, not in television.
Oh, wow.
So that pretty much kind of solidifies that they won't be doing a traditional season 2 when they kind of put that up for consideration and whatnot. So I don't know. I mean, I like the show. We'll see. We have Miss Marvel next. Is that what we have next?
Miss Marvel's next. Yeah.
And she's introduced in Doctor Strange 2, right?
No. That's America Chavez.
Okay.
That's America Chavez. She can basically punch the air, and then a star-shaped portal goes through, and she can go to different dimensions. And that's why Wanda wants her powers so bad. Because we all know what happened in WandaVision. Yeah. You know, the kids disappeared, and you saw at the end, she's dead set. She wants her kids back, you know? But I don't know. I think it's really cool what they did. And some of my friends who did see it said that Doctor Strange 2 is basically the second part of WandaVision.
Because that's kind of what it looked like.
Yeah, I mean, Doctor Strange's movie, and they said that they like this way better than the first one. And I'm like, it's Sam Raimi. Oh my God.
Right. Yeah.
Danny Elfman is doing the music. You better shut it. It's going to be good. So, anyway, sorry. Go.
Anyway, so any last thoughts on Moon Knight then before we wrap that up and head on to our next topic? All right. We saw. Steph and I started to speak, and we saw a total eclipse of the heart over on Richard. Speaking of moons, all right. I'm just full of jokes tonight, guys. I see. I would like to apologize to all of our listeners and viewers right now for that. So, all right, another topic that we had kind of chatted about is, and we can kind of carry this through to the end. Is Richard, you kind of brought up an interesting point earlier this week in our chat off mic, and that was a point referring to kind of the consistency with source material and how fans react to consistency with source material or previous IP or anything like that. Why don't you walk through our viewers and listeners kind of what you're seeing or what you are feeling kind of about this idea of a new movie or a new TV show and how it's adapting previous source material and kind of people's reactions?
Well, I've been watching kind of like the non-spoiler of a couple of my favorite content creators on YouTube, and it kept coming up, especially on Heroes Reforged. That I love them. Latino. Oh my god, it's such a good one, and they're funny, and they won't take your shit. But one thing, Hector, because he also does like interviews for DC television and stuff like that, and he said it best is that basically all the younger generation of people, they're all about the source content, and like seriously, they're probably bringing the comic book with them to the theater and doing references and go, that's not right, that's not right. And he said, and he's kind of my age in that group, that why aren't you looking at the directing? Why aren't you looking at, listening to the music, seeing the acting, and doing all of that? A movie is so much more than that. And guess what? Stuff from comic books and books, or even video games, doesn't translate well always on screen. Like how it is there, it's not going to translate well. And you've got to combine characters or change, situations a little bit, and this, that, and the other. And a lot of people were very not happy about that. And that just seems like the general consensus. Because a lot of the younger fans, especially Star Trek, they're the worst. The Star Wars and Star Trek fans, holy shit, it better be by the book, like Legends and stuff like that. I'm like, shit, y'all. But they grew up with all of this amazing stuff. I'm a kid from the 80s. I saw the 1970s Doctor Strange movie. It's shit. Okay, that's all I'm telling you. That's
And
what
it
I
just got
grew
a
up
Blu-ray
with.
release. I was kind of excited to see it got a Blu-ray release. So,
Because of this, watch it. You're gonna laugh your ass off. First of all, oh my god. Anyway, I grew up with that and a really horrible Captain America movie back in the 80s.
I
90s.
actually own that one on Blu-ray. I'm actually a fan of that one.
Okay.
I love you, Albert Pyun. He's a great director.
I'm gonna let go. But we grew up with that, and I don't know if it's because everything now is just awesome. I mean, not everything is better, but I mean, let's look at the Incredible Hulk back then. The stories back then were amazing. Um, David Banner, on the road trying to escape, not have people, find him and what have you. That was good. Did it go by the source material? Fuck no, it didn't. They did their own thing. They took some of the stories and adapted them to television. But I don't know if it's because I grew up in a certain time period and a lot of that stuff was not awesome, um, or if a lot of the kids nowadays they grew up with it and they might be slightly spoiled, having such amazing stuff. And I don't know, it just seems like older nerds versus, the newer ones. It seems like I've been even seeing it in my chat groups on Facebook. They've been locking horns sometimes. Like one thing they do lock horns about, which is crazy, is that why do it week to week? What that we were talking about in the other program. And a lot of the older people like us is like, I had to watch Buffy every week, in order to see it. And if you didn't see it and have like a VCR that could record shit, you missed it.
Yeah.
You completely missed it. So I don't know. What do y'all think? I don't know. It drives me up the wall a little bit, but what do you think?
The first thing that comes to mind is it that it really has changed, or is it that social media has made voices louder?
It's both.
You know, because Just like when the original Exorcist came out, you know, it was based off a book and people had a fucking problem. Wasn't exactly like it, but
right.
we didn't have computers, Facebook, and all that jazz.
Thank you.
You know? And another thought that came to mind is, I guess something that I want to credit the comic book superhero movies is that I feel like it's actually gotten people to read and go back to the originals. And, you know, then they're reading the originals and like, oh, what the fuck? You know, this isn't what happened. But yeah, I'm torn on this because I don't know if it is a generational thing or is there just like different factors that come into play.
Right.
You know, because oh, sorry.
No,
you,
go for it.
All right, I'm just going to jump in as the white male in this situation. I'm just going to force my voice in here. I'm just kidding. So,
really?
Anyway, you know, I'll admit I love to read. So, you know, a perfect example, I think I brought it up before, is The Expanse. I absolutely fucking love the book series, and I fucking was very disappointed in the show, you know?
Wow. Okay.
Probably because they don't have my fucking favorite character, but that's besides the fucking point. And then they decide to bring him in later, and he's just like a fucking secondary fucking person. And I'm like, what? Anyway, I could talk about that all day. But so, like, I don't know. I'm on both sides because sometimes I'm like, you know, I wish you were a little more like the book. But like you said, there's so many things that just don't translate well, you know, and I get that. So I'm a little more lenient, I think, sometimes. I don't know. I'm just ranting, guys. So, Matt, what do you think?
Yeah. So I get both of your points. Here's my thing about this. And I could go on for this like for 4 hours because I think there's a lot of different things that stem into this. Not only just like the advent of living in the age of information, where we readily are available to watch these things, right? That as a Star Trek fan, I can go back and compare the new one to the old one. Before you couldn't do that, right? You just didn't have the home video technology or whatever, right? So technology has changed that, right? I think that there's certainly a generational aspect to it, maybe, but I think that that's more has to do with the technology and more time kind of deal with that. I think that most fandoms are toxic, period. I think that's the problem. I think the problem more so than even like newer fans versus older fans. And granted, it seems like, Richard, you're making a lot of reference to comic book stuff, which is not because I don't read the source material and I don't walk those circles. I don't see those. But I walk in the world of like movies and a lot of like, does this fit in with this franchise? Does this fit in with this and whatnot? And I would say like in the circles that I walk, the older fans are just as bad as the newer fans.
I'm not saying that the older fans are right. I'm just like just kind of throwing it out there because I'm a little. I go back and forth, especially with some of the stuff that Steph said. So I'm thinking about it. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, and I think that you make a good point. When you walk in the world of comics and stuff like that, you know, are we going back and are we getting a lot of people that are mad that Jim Carrey's The Mask is nothing like the Dark Horse comic? And I don't know if we were getting that, you know, necessarily. Yeah, maybe, but maybe that's because the fandom for The Mask was small at the time. And as these fandoms have become more, I don't know, furious and fast and things like that, that there's this idea that it becomes a personal slight. I made a joke online the other day that I was like, I'm a huge Godzilla fan. Obviously, I'm wearing a Gamera shirt right now. I love kaiju movies and stuff like that. The Godzilla fandom is weirdly like the least toxic fandom I've ever found, is the Godzilla fandom. Partially because like Godzilla fans all know that there are bad movies that exist in the Godzilla universe. There are bad books and bad comics. And that's part of the charm. That's okay. That's, you know, things with flaws are still beautiful with their flaws. And there's this idea now that like modern stuff, like, you know, God forbid I like Rogue One and do not like Force Awakens, suddenly I'm a bad fan or whatever. Or, and it's gotten to the point where like, and I'll say this 100,000 times over and over again, headcanon is the worst thing that has ever happened to storytelling in the modern era. This idea that like in my head, this is what it is, and that is my version of Star Trek. In my head, this is what it is, that is my version of James Bond. And if you betray what I have created in my head, this world, then you are wrong. And that's not how artistic works. That's not how
I think that's like
works.
Matrix is the perfect example of that.
Yeah.
I fully agree. I loved The Matrix Resurrections. I know that is a not popular opinion because people literally are like, that's not my Matrix. That is not that's not how it works. And you're like, well, it never really was yours to begin with. Like it was the Wachowskis to begin with. And so when Lana Wachowski does it, and obviously when you watch that movie, Lana Wachowski is like, so much of what you guys assumed about The Matrix is wrong. Right. And I'm going to have to like reinforce this about what we think The Matrix is about. And some artists are willing to forgive that and give that up or whatever. But it's a really fascinating time to be, especially because like I work on another podcast that is a focus on film franchises. Film franchises to me are fascinating because the ones that make it are the ones that change with the times. And yet we are now in a time period where if we try to change with the times, people rebel against it. And they're like, this isn't what I signed up for. This isn't the Star Wars movie I wanted, right? And so then we have these studios or writers or publishers or whatever who are trying to feed into the fan base versus actually doing what's best for the story or what's best or allowing these artists to have the creative freedom to do it. Right. One of the comic book ones that was really interesting was there was one where there was a comic book with a new Captain America where at the end of one of the issues, he said, "Hail Hydra." And he punched a guy in the face or something to that effect. And the fans flipped shit because they were like, Captain America would never say that. Never, ever in a million years. And they didn't even let the story. They didn't let the story play itself out. You're like, no, that's an interesting idea. Just let it play out. Let it see. And maybe it still sucks.
I agree with that.
Maybe it does. But like, let it play out.
It's okay. But it was Steve. It was Steve. And then they did that and everyone flipped the fuck out. And then they kind of, but I agree with you on this. Let the story, follow it. Don't start, setting fire to, movie studios and all this stuff because you don't like it. And then guess what? At the end, he really wasn't. And he was doing it to try to, get somewhere else or find out something and get information. Yeah. So just stop going crazy, building it up in your head. Stop it.
It's fine.
That's your fault.
It's fine. And it does make it kind of frustrating at times because like I used to be part of big fandoms and stuff like that for movies. Yeah. And it's gotten to the point where I'm like, I kind of don't care. I don't care to like walk in these circles or anything like that anymore. And because these people are so toxic about things and headcanon has become so prevalent that to the point it frustrates me that like a company like Disney and I'm going to say this about Spider-Man, the last one, is that why are we going back to fix movies you didn't even make? Who cares? And but obviously I'm not in the majority on this, right? Everybody loved that movie, adored it, right? Yeah. As Steph liked to say, everybody was clapping like seals, right? Like, for that movie. Yeah, and why are you fixing these things? It's okay that movies were flawed to begin with, right? Like,
but I don't think it was just Marvel because Sony owns it. I think it was more Sony because they flopped. I like the one with Andrew Garfield, but I will say one thing that bringing them all into this universe, because every time Tom Holland made a film, it's like, I'm Tobey Maguire, I'm Andrew Garfield. There were no arguments like that because guess what? They're all in one movie. So you can't hate it and you can't say, I mean, you can still say who's your favorite. And I think Andrew Garfield stole the show, by the way. But yeah, they couldn't do it. But I think it's more Sony than Disney or Marvel.
I would argue it's Disney because Disney's been doing it for years with other franchises. They've been doing it they're not just with Marvel. They're doing it with Star Wars. They're doing it with, I mean, when you look at the sequel trilogy for Star Wars, every movie is a response and a retcon for the movie previous. And you're like, it's okay, right? Like there's a reason why like the original trilogy for Star Wars has so many weird retcons in it to begin with Luke and Leia being brother sister, and George Lucas to this day will be like, that's exactly how I wrote it to begin with. And you're like, obviously not. Like shut the fuck up. Like it's like obviously that's not what you did. And you know what? That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I would say even to that regard, one of the things that irritates me about Disney and specifically Marvel has really irritated me lately is there's this idea that if we can make fun of the silliness of it before the audience does, then we're okay. Right? So, trying to think of a good example of that. And I would even say like in some of the good ones, like, even like Thor Ragnarok, we're making jokes about Thor and about like how silly the concept of Thor is versus just taking it seriously. And you're like, it's okay to like not make a joke about it, right? It's okay for Tony Stark to not be like, are you pissing off the wizards again? Ha ha ha, great. Like it's not everybody. And it was the weird thing that I loved about Black Panther was T'Challa wasn't quippy. He didn't have to make fun of everybody. He didn't have to make fun of this concept of Black Panther. Although some of the side characters did it, but I was like, that's good. Like it's okay to take your own shit seriously. And and I don't know. It's almost to the point where like, and maybe here's a I know we're running long. Here's a thought. The new Ghostbusters, for example, right? The new Ghostbusters movies, both the 2016 remake and Ghostbusters Afterlife, are so afraid of their own fans because of the religion that has been created around Ghostbusters that they won't actually do anything new or cool with the idea. Right? And I actually didn't mind Afterlife. I thought it was fine. But that movie is terrified to deviate from the source material. Because of the fans, because of like what you're saying, Richard. These fans are out there and they're rabid about things, and it's their religion, and they don't want to piss off the fans because if they piss off the fans, then nobody's going to see the movie. And it's like, you know what? Sometimes you need to piss off the fans. Like sometimes you just need to do something different and like really push the artistry of what a franchise is or what it is. I don't know.
And I'll say this, and I know we're running out of time, but they're going to do that with Interview with the Vampire, or the Vampire Chronicles and the Mayfair Witches. How much are they going to actually take out of, these books and try to do it page by page? It's not going to happen. I mean, even just picking the characters of, Louis looks half black, half white, which that is a thing down in, Louisiana area. It's a thing, especially during the time of slaves, So, and Claudia, too. Everyone, anyway, is up in arms, and it's just crazy. So, go ahead, Steph.
I want to play devil's advocate.
All right.
What about Sonic?
Oh, God.
People complained about how he looked. And they're like, what the fuck did you do?
They changed
And you know what? They changed it real quick and much better.
I actually don't disagree. I think the new Sonic look is better because it looks more like the game. Absolutely. I think the first design was horrific. It was the thing of nightmares. Like it haunts me to this day. When I have night terrors and I have sleep paralysis, I see that original Sonic in the corner. And it's in his human teeth and it freaks me out.
Oh my God.
No, I think you're not wrong. Like the fans kind of rebelled against it. They fixed it, right? I do think it sets a bad precedent. Yeah. Are fans going to now say that we can fix things if the trailer sucks? Like, or whatever. I look at Suicide Squad, the first one, not the Suicide Squad. Look at Suicide Squad. The trailer came out and was such a hit that they went back and changed the movie to fit the trailer better. by adding in more music and making it funnier when it wasn't supposed to be that way.
Right,
and now we get like hashtag release the air cut is now fucking trending on Twitter or whatever. But like, you know, you're not wrong, Steph. The Sonic is actually a perfect example of that. What's inherently interesting about the Sonic is, did changing the look of Sonic change the movie? Or did it just change the perception of the movie? Because I don't know if the script changed.
Perception. I would say perception.
You know, that movie kind of fucking rules. I mean, we watched it together. And
oh, yeah, I loved it. It was great.
The first Sonic's great, right? Like, it's so much fun. And you're like, you know, even if it was, I mean, it would be hard to watch with that fucking old Sonic in there because you'd want to burn your eyes out. But, like, you know.
Oh, my goodness.
That's
Justice League. How about Justice League? And, I mean, the Snyder cut versus the Whedon original, it was led by fans for the Snyder cut, and they got their way. I mean, they completely got their way, and I agree with you. It's like, where's the line?
Yeah.
So, anyway.
It makes for an interesting topic and one that I
think
literally
it's
can talk
funny
about for hours.
that I think it's funny that people complain that there's no originality these days. Yet, if people deviate, you know, it's a fucking problem. So, what is it? What do you want? Do you want originality or not? You know, or I don't know.
I think that's a great point, because you know me. I just shared a review the other day that literally my first line in it is originality is overrated. It's not about originality. It's about how well it's executed, right? I will stand firmly by that till the end of my days. But so I'll pick your brain. I know we're running long. Steph, new Robotech movie. You love Robotech, right?
I do
new
too.
Robotech movie, and it makes you wonder, how far is it going to deviate from the source material, or are they going to be too terrified of the fan base to deviate from it and say, like, we're just going to have to try to keep this as, you know, as close to the source material as possible while changing it into a movie form. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about that, Steph?
Well, I feel like this is a topic that I can go on and on for about 4 hours on. That's hard. I'm a huge Robotech / Macross fan, and I say Macross because what story of Robotech are they going to tell? Are they going to tell Macross? Because Robotech is actually a combination of multiple animes.
Yeah.
If they do Macross, you know, are they going to start with Rick Hunter from the 80s fucking TV show? Or are they going to do some of the 90s fucking OVAs, you know, Macross Plus or Macross 2 the movie, you know? I have, I don't know. If I think their best option would, obviously, they can't fit it all in one movie. So I'm thinking this has to be a trilogy. And I think, I hope they stick close to the source material. You know, they start with Rick and Roy and make it kind of like a Top Gun-ish thing. I think that would be cool. But, you know, are they going to mention aliens? Is aliens going to be a part of it? Because that's what Robotech is. That's what Macross is, you know? Is it going to be, you know, very music heavy? I mean, proto-culture is fucking music. That was the cure for fucking everything, was music, sharing your culture, you know? I don't know. And if they don't talk about these things, I'm going to have a fucking problem with it, because that's like the fucking point. So, I don't know. Very torn.
Yeah. I think that's the idea, is that's what makes this a fascinating topic. And when Richard kind of brought this up, and when I guess I should just not use you in the third person, Richard, when you brought this up, Richard, I was like, you know, this is a great topic to talk about, because this is not an easy answer. We now live in a culture of IP. We live in a culture where we tell the same stories again and again and again. As much as people want to complain about reboots or remakes, they've always been here. There's a reason why Hamlet is played on the stage at every fucking theater 4 times a year, right? Like, there's a reason that people keep going to it, because we just keep remaking it again and again. It's not new, right? Also, but it makes for a fascinating topic.
By the way, they have like no fucking Japanese writers on Robotech, which is
what?
I don't have high hopes. I don't have high hopes. Like, guys,
There better be a really good
And
fan
it's
writing
the
this.
director of Hawkeye that's going to be the director of this movie.
Yeah, the director of most of the episodes of Hawkeye on Disney Plus is directing the new Robotech.
And I'll be honest, I didn't watch Hawkeye, so I don't know.
Well, we're gonna have to watch Hawkeye now. So
it was fun. It was grounded. It was fun. There's like no people flying in space or in the air. It's just very grounded, you know. So it's fun. I really liked it a lot. It was a good holiday movie. Marvel made a holiday movie for Dad to get home in time. I liked it.
Yeah, I'm in. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap this up because we are at the hour mark already. So any last thoughts before I roll into my spiel for here at the end? No?
Man. Well, I do want to shout out one more movie from Panic Fest. What was the dude in the cube?
Oh, The Abandoned.
The Abandoned. It was really good. You guys should check it out. Also, when you guys are saying, another rebuttal, you guys are saying how movies aren't my movies. I'm sorry, but if that movie is dedicated to somebody, like Macross Plus 2 is dedicated to all the future pioneers, that's my fucking movie. Okay? I'm just saying.
Or how that movie you mentioned earlier, Dawning, was dedicated to the Hurt.
The Dawning was dedicated to all the Hurt, and it's not my fault that all these people just want to keep, dedicating movies to me, but it makes it my movie. So that's just it.
I love it. I love it so much. Any last thoughts, Richard?
This kind of came up when I was hanging out with my friends, and I want to talk about this on air. Are you a Goonies fan or are you a Monster Squad fan? It's real. Believe in the hype and the crazy. It's a real thing. Yes. Goonies against Monster Squad. You know where I go.
Yeah,
all right, I'm back.
It only makes sense you would pick Monster Squad because there's a vampire in it, Richard. And he picks up a little girl and he goes, "You bitch!" And you're like, "Wow, this is a kid's movie." Like, Dracula just called this like 4-year-old a bitch.
I know.
Okay, they started.
It was 80s. It was. I mean, they also used the word. Yeah, like throughout the movie, they excuse my language, but they use the word "fag" a lot in a movie, and they just throw that word out there so much. And it's weird when you're a kid, and when I saw as a kid in the 80s, you're just like, because that's how everyone else was talking in school, you know. Now I'm like, oh, bitch, no. Oh, where's my shoe? I'm about to run after someone and throw it at their head.
Pull off your flip flop
anyway,
and start swatting.
I'm like, come here. My chunklet, right? My chunklet's gonna go. I grew up in San Antonio. I know when grandmas are throwing chunklets. All right, I'm just saying, duck and roll, get out.
But then she's gonna throw the other one.
Right, she's coming after you.
She's got two of them. She's got two chunklets. You gotta be aware.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm done.
I almost feel like that's a topic for a full nother episode that we can talk about. Childhood horror. We may have to save that one for next time with it. All right. So the only last thought I have to say is that we have the new Firestarter movie comes out this Friday. So support movies and go see it in theaters. I think the original Firestarter is okay, but I think the new one actually has some potential. There's some places, and John Carpenter does the score. So John Carpenter does the score. I'm there. So yeah, it actually premieres on Peacock and in theaters same day on Friday. So I do suggest go see it in theaters. I just want to throw it out there. So all right, I'm gonna wrap this up, guys. So thank you all for everyone for tuning in, whether you're watching or listening. I know this was a long episode, but you know what? Call it a double because we missed last week. So thank you so much. For the kind people over at Ear Glue Media, thank you so much. To Eric Fossum with Fossum Studios for all of our lovely graphics. Thank you to all of our supporters and backers. And of course, thank you to everyone that works so hard to bring so many of these nerdy things to us day in and day out. Even if I complain about you all the time, I appreciate what you do for it. And with that, we bid you a good night as we put this nerd mind to rest. Thank you so much, Steph. Thank you so much, Richard, for joining me
I
once
just have
again.
one thing to say. Latest Gators.
Latest Gators.
Latest Gators.
And I was going to bring back another Sailor Moon quote for the end, but I'm afraid I'm going to get punished. All right.
Latest Gators.
Latest Gators. We won't see you for season 2. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great evening. We'll talk to you next week.